pretty cold for a popsicle.
It's freezing.
That's what we're doing.
Well, he's been asking for popsicles. That's a fudgicle, but same thing.
He's been asking.
Hello, my lords and ladies.
Hello.
We've been watching Game of Thrones. It's finally here. The final season.
It hasn't started yet. It starts Sunday.
Well, right, but we're basically
rewatching the first season.
Yeah.
We watched it before, but now we're like back into it. Really back into this story.
Rachel's been enjoying my British accent, which I won't do too much in this video because it's humiliating. Okay, so right after we did last week's video where I put the trampoline up, we jumped the gun a little bit. Let's just call it what it is. The weather hasn't been very nice at all. It was like rainy and cold all week.
Today's the first nice day.
Today's the first reasonable day, I would say.
It's still cold.
The boys have been wanting to come outside every single day, so that is good to see. Isaac's still going on the trampoline every day too. Also enjoying a fudgicle. And we've got new toys, which Nana bought you boys for Easter. We're gonna have to say thank you to Nana.
Easter, that's right.
Easter is soon. He's been learning about it. Isaac, you know, he liked lacrosse when he was at his cousin's birthday party, so we got some lacrosse sticks to see if that interest could carry over. It's almost Easter. And then Cormac's been loving soccer lately, so my mom got them a soccer net. And I gotta say, look at this picture. This boy's about to get smashed in the face by that ball. I hope they paid him nicely for that photo shoot.
You always notice the packagings of things. Like
I do.
Pictures.
Well, because I'm into the photography of it.
You always notice.
And I'm like, you know, okay, what do they put for the packaging? And it's just, yeah,
this little girl, like...
She's about to smash that ball into this poor kid's face. Probably now is a good time to set the soccer net up just because they're going to be eating their fudgicles for... Oh, he's almost done his fudgicle already. Well, I'm going to do it anyways. Wow, the ground is still soaking wet. The ground will never dry out. Every time I try to put something together, I feel like without fail, I'm always missing at least one tiny piece. I might have a needle around here somewhere, but right now I just want to enjoy the outdoors. We got other balls we can use. It's fine because they're not even interested in soccer right now anyways. Because, you know, when you got trampoline time. And we spent plenty of time on the trampoline this week. Don't be fooled, even though it was kind of a cruddy week. And now we're back. We're gonna be here all spring and summer, I feel like.
This will be where most of our vlogs take place.
Yeah, get used to trampoline. That's all I'm gonna say.
Because why
I'm just
not?
waiting for you to get in there.
I will. I feel like I wait for the actual nice weather to jump on a trampoline, but we'll see.
Hi.
Whoa!
Whoa!
He shocked you with his
Ow!
nose.
Did that hurt you?
He shocked you with his nose.
That was shocking, I know. We don't care if our boys are into traditional sports at all, like soccer and lacrosse. These gifts are just ways for us to try to have fun. And Cormac's been showing a ton of interest in soccer lately. Not necessarily soccer, I guess just kicking the ball around.
Kicking a ball, so to me, just think like that he'd be more interested in soccer.
The same way I wouldn't force them into an activity just because it's typical or whatever. I'm not gonna try to prevent them from doing something that interests them too. So the soccer net, I mean, that just kind of gives Cormac a little bit of an idea of, you know, the rules of the game. What it really is, see if, you know, to gauge if there's any further interest in that. Could be cool. Hello, hello, hello. Nice spin move.
It's great for them to get their energy out too. I don't know. I always feel like they sleep a little better when they jump around more outside.
Is that true, Cormac?
You little ham. I guess he fell today at school.
Oh yeah, I didn't even check out his. He's got a cut somewhere.
See, really. I looked at his face real quick, but I got a call from the school nurse that Cormac, I knew he had been liking the swings. They told me he liked the swings at school at recess, but they said he just, you know, let go too quick or whatever and fell off, and that he like cut himself on his lip. The nurse said when she tried to like look at him, he said, "No, thank you." I'm like, that sounds like Cormac.
It is, because he's super polite in everything.
He's always like, "No, thank you."
Even when he's being rude, he's polite.
Yes,
which is his talent.
exactly.
It's a very good skill to have.
Yes. Whoa.
Actually, it's a really good wind down activity.
Yes. Isaac used to, like, as his wind down activity, when he had an iPad, it would be his iPad. And that's like a comforting thing. And he seemed to like his iPad. But it certainly wasn't my favorite or Luke's favorite thing for him to do. So we definitely limited his time. But it actually broke. His iPad broke. And we haven't tried to replace it or anything like that. And he actually hasn't cared. He hasn't asked about it, hasn't thought about it.
The drawing on YouTube
Yeah.
or the TV replaced some
Now
of that?
he's drawing and he's doing other activities like sometimes Nintendo. But on his iPad, he was really kind of like looking at the same YouTube videos over and over. And I think that's like a typical thing kids do. Find videos they like on YouTube Kids and keep watching them.
And they would be like letter videos.
They would be letter videos.
There's so many of them, and we started getting them in
Wanna
our
come
own
out,
heads.
Isaac?
You coming out? If you've watched any of our videos, then you might know Isaac is very, very interested in letters, an intense interest in letters since he was really, really young. Like we noticed it when he was maybe 15 months old or something like that. So much so that we've gotten tons of comments about it. And I brought this up to the developmental specialist when we saw her somewhat recently. I think what we want to do in this video is sit down and talk about that later because it's probably more of an involved topic. So when the boys go down, we'll talk about that. Now Cormac's turn. Should we get a ladder for here or something?
Yeah, we should.
You can invent your own game. Put it in the net. In the net. Yeah. Isaac scored a goal. It was like a lacrosse.
It's like a lacrosse
Beach ball
soccer.
goal. I don't know. It's a new game.
One of those.
We've never had a net like this. Let's see if Dad can get it in. Ready?
Down cheer on me.
On the trampoline? Well, I was gonna kick the ball.
We go.
Oh, I hit the post.
Whoa!
What did you just knocked the net
Knocked
off.
into the whole net.
So competitive. Oh, sorry. He likes to jump on the trampoline with the little
Yeah, he
balls.
does.
They bounce around.
To eat.
Trampoline? What do you
Are we home?
You need help too? You guys both need help?
Up they go.
Woo! Isn't that funny? Isaac's more interested in the net right now.
You never know with these kids. It's
gonna be the
it's
opposite
so
of
funny.
what you think most of the
it's
time.
often the opposite.
That ball's gonna pop. We just bought it.
Whoa, good job. Isaac, watch Dad.
I missed.
And kick.
Just like that kid on the box.
Just like the kid in the box.
I'm trying to get him to open the door all by himself. Rachel just asked for a close-up, so I'm gonna give her a close-up.
No, don't. Wait a minute. Hi.
We were talking today about doing a get ready with me
Yes.
with Rachel because people had been asking for that like a year ago, not a full year ago, and we said we were gonna do it. So I was gonna say, oh, Loud Toys, you could leave a comment if you want to see a get ready with me with Rachel where she does some makeup stuff. But we don't have any comments on YouTube. They still don't allow.
Comment on Instagram.
All right, do you want to see a get ready with me? Not with me, I don't even get ready. But with someone who actually does get ready? Okay, you can leave a comment about that there.
Uh-oh, face it.
Whoa. How did it turn?
It does sometimes.
It bounces into things.
Yeah. Oh, what room? Get it.
Broke something over there. Ow, that hit me. Whoa. Okay. See you in a sec. Okay. Boys are in bed, as we do sometimes. Can you still hear Isaac? He's up there still making
He's
a racket.
like singing to himself, I think.
He'll do that.
He'll do that.
As long as we're not too loud. I don't think anything we do down here usually disturbs them. Once they're in bed, it's sort of
Yeah.
understood, especially for Isaac. What we wanted to talk about was something that has come up on our channel in the comments section over and over and over again. Again, we don't have comments anymore, so we can't go back and look at them right now.
When
But
we used to have comments.
oh, I remember it like it was just a month ago. Especially when we posted a video last year called Our Autism Story from the Beginning, where we detailed basically every little step of Isaac's development, the first time around, through getting a diagnosis and afterwards. So we talked a lot about his letters and how he was absolutely just fascinated with letters and symbols and numbers, and still is, but that was one of the first really strong things that we noticed about him in his development at all before he had speech or any type of communication, pointing or gesturing. It was right from the start always letters, symbols.
I think he was like 16 months old, and we might even have some like footage of him way back then.
Oh yeah.
Where the book Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, he loved that book, and at the end they show you the whole alphabet, every letter, and he like knew every letter. Where's the V?
That final
and he
page.
was that young, and he knew every letter.
About 16 months old,
Yeah.
where he knew every letter. I don't
And
remember
he'd
the
say,
exact.
like the letter, even though he couldn't say anything else. He said the letters of the alphabet, and we were just
Pretty
like,
soon after
amazed.
that, it was being able to read a word, and then a
Some words, yeah.
little while after that, he was reading sentences. So I guess that was the first thing we were like, okay, what is going on here? So that's just a little bit small amount of backstory there, just to get you ready for what we're about to discuss. After we posted that video, we had just tons of comments from people saying, oh, my kid does the exact same thing. I can't believe how similar Isaac is to them. But then there were other people who actually had a name for that type of behavior, or that type of skill set, I guess, and it was hyperlexia. It was the first time we'd ever heard the term hyperlexia or hyperlexic describing someone in that way. And, having gone through the whole diagnosis process, it was a little strange to hear a bunch of people all saying one thing about our kid that I had never heard about, ever. Since then, like, the comments have continued to come in. We've continued to talk back and forth with people who have similar children in some ways, obviously not in all ways, that's just how it is, but it's funny. This is something that seems to keep popping up for us. I imagine, it pops up for us because people see it, we're putting our family out on the internet and people see it and they're like, hey, we can connect in this way. I want to tell you about this, or let's discuss, what we're seeing. And so I wanted to bring that up to the developmental specialist when we went a little while back. I was like, have you heard of hyperlexia? Is this something that you think describes Isaac? Would he be diagnosed with it? And she did completely agree that was what we were seeing.
Yeah.
That's like a whole new thing for us to think about.
It's all just it is part of autism. Like, not everyone with autism has hyperlexia, where they have an obsession with letters, but it is found in autism.
It's an overlapping condition.
Just like a lot of kids, or a lot of people with autism show like obsessive compulsive disorder.
And Isaac does,
and he does show that too. Yeah.
But it's it's one of those things that just kind of, I think, shows how different and unique that people can be across the autism spectrum. I read somewhere, now I'm not a hyperlexia expert by any means. I'm just sort of looking into this all just out of curiosity now, because it's interesting to me. And somewhere I read that it was like 5 to 20% of people on the autism spectrum are also hyperlexic. Now, I mean, that's like a huge range, and I don't really believe any numbers when something is so, I don't know, unknown, not really talked about that much.
Yeah.
But it's clear that it's a significant thing, and I'm just, like I said, I've been seeing it myself, people contacting me, direct messages or comments about that very topic. So it's something that, like, sort of, I think is starting to gain some speed. People are starting to talk about it. Like you said, like, yes, it's like an overlapping condition or a splinter skill, I've read it called, with autism. But also I think that there's a few different types of hyperlexia where it's not even always directly linked with autism. I think that it can be outside of autism sometimes too. So it doesn't make things any more easy to understand. It's just another confusing layer to add, but it can be important to think about these things. It's important for different things.
Like, I think, like, I just remember in the beginning with Isaac, we did have like some concerns with him, wondering if he had autism or something like that. But I feel like when we really started to see, and other people started telling us, like, he seemed so good with the alphabet and with letters, we're like, oh, like,
like he's so gifted.
He's so gifted then, and like, not that he's not gifted, because you are, like,
it's definitely a gift.
Yeah.
It's very special.
I just think that we kind of thought at that point for a while, oh, maybe it isn't autism.
Mm-hmm.
How could he have autism if he is so good at understanding letters and letter sounds and the alphabet? Like, I remember we thought, like, oh, it couldn't be autism. If he's so good at that, if he's so good at understanding that, then he'll eventually be really good at communicating and talking. If he's so
because
good at
letters seems like the foundation, and you're like, if he's got the foundation of language so nailed down, then we're doing all right. He's going to be just fine. When actually it doesn't actually mean that. So I think that's part of why I think it's so important to talk about these different types of things. Because if more information's out there, then maybe that can prevent other parents from missing out on some of those signs that might help you identify autism earlier. I didn't even give the actual definition of hyperlexia. I think we just sort of jumped the gun and jumped right into it. Basically, I did a bunch of research on this just so that I didn't sound like a complete fool talking about it. And the definition that I got on the internet is almost the same everywhere across the board. Hyperlexia is a syndrome that is characterized by a child's precocious ability to read far above what would be expected at their age, significant difficulty in understanding and using verbal language, or a profound nonverbal learning disability, and significant problems during social interactions. So you can see some of that, being in direct parallel line with autism. And as the developmental specialist said to us, and as we've known right from the start, it does not necessarily, and oftentimes doesn't mean just because that they're reading that there's reading comprehension there. Because there's that, lack of social communication ability and lack of understanding what the words actually mean, you know what I mean?
Isaac has been able to read for so long, been very advanced with words and reading, but he doesn't understand what a story is about a lot of the time. It's just that he likes the words. We really have thought of his hyperlexia, his enjoyment of letters. We've used it for positive reinforcement, and they have his therapists have, and at school they have definitely used letters, letter puzzles or different things to do with letters.
Huge
as
motivator, reward, or just something that makes him comfortable to get through.
Comfortable.
A lot of success with that. Yeah, so that's true. It's not even just something for parents to look out for and just be aware of, but it's something that you want to possibly tap into if you can.
Or if your kid has any kind of obsession, I'd say. Yeah. To use it in a very positive way, instead of being, so anxious about the fact that that's the only thing they focus on. Try to use it more as a reward.
Oh, that killed us for so long. We were trying to strip him of his letters because we felt like it was getting in the way of everything positive that we wanted to do. And then we started to realize that if we actually use this in the right ways, that it's going to be something that we find useful, productive. I do think there's a lot of ways that the broad definition of autism is a good thing. I think it's great for community and support. There's a bunch of reasons it's good. But where I like to sort of dig in more specifically, and I always say I want to become an expert on my child, so this is an example of us, trying to dig into a topic that's us being an expert on our children. And I think the benefit of that for parents, caregivers, therapists, teachers, anybody, service providers, is so that you can find those little ways that you can encourage the exact type of learning environment that benefits the person. That's why I think it's a good conversation to have, and I do think it's fascinating. Definitely very interesting. I didn't know a whole lot about autism before having Isaac, but whatever I knew about it, wouldn't have thought that someone with autism would just be so good with words and letters. And he even understood, not just letters, but the sounds that they all made and all that stuff super early. It wouldn't have known that was something that looking back with autism, but certainly did with Isaac. Remember, we had that one therapist who we were saying to them, we were describing Isaac, we were just meeting with them, and she said, Isaac is really amazing with letters, you won't even believe it. And then she said oh yes, I've seen this. I've certainly seen this. And she acted so casual about it.
She acted like she sees it all the time.
And I was like, what?
I was like, oh, we thought,
I was like, this can't be something you see that frequently. But it is, and that's why I want to bring it to the attention of this channel. Obviously not everyone's going to be able to relate to this specifically.
No, not everyone's the same,
but it is very interesting, and I think it's a lot more common than people realize. Mm-hmm. That's almost like bringing a whole new diagnosis to the table that runs in line with his autism. And it's just something for us to keep in mind, So there it is.
Yes.
I think that's going to be it for this video. I thank you for tuning in. Don't leave a comment unless the comments are enabled.
Yes.
But like the video instead. Like the video instead.
And I'd also say go to our Instagram and comment there.
Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Always ready to comment there. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week, which
Okay.
is vacation week.
Oh, don't remind me. All right, thanks guys.